Hey guys, so it's been a long time since I've done a get ready with me video, so I thought I would do that today because I had ordered some products from Beautylish and they came in and I got the Jeffree Star Conspiracy palette and I got one of his liquid lipsticks, and this is in the shade Celebrity Skin, which is just a nude. So I thought that yeah, I would just do this get ready with me video. So let's begin. I'm going to start with my Wet n Wild lip treatment. So the Conspiracy palette came out 7 months ago. I was on the Jeffree Star website most of that day, and the website kept malfunctioning, and at one point I had like 10 of these palettes in my cart because I kept hitting the button and nothing was showing up, but it was adding palettes, and I wasn't able to get it anyway. And then the next morning or the middle of the night, I was able to get the mini controversy palette, and I have really enjoyed that, but I still wanted the Conspiracy palette, and then I missed out on the restock. And anyway, to make a long story short, I finally just bought it at Beautylish after all this time, and so I'm going to be playing with that today. Next, I'm going to use my CoverGirl Simply Ageless Primer. So as far as the other products I'm using today, these are the products that you see in the description box every single time I make a video. Certain categories of products I don't really change that much. I might make small changes, but I don't usually change that much. I have changed the foundation though that I've been using because now that the warm weather is here, spending a little bit more time outside, and my skin is starting to get a little bit darker, so I had to switch up my foundation to compensate for that. Okay, and that is the Revolution Conceal and Hydrate Radiance Foundation in the shade F5. Let me just make sure. Yeah, F5. The foundations that I was using was Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless in Ivory, and then I also had the Maybelline, the new one, Maybelline Dream Satin something or other. Not the old one, the new one. And that one I had in Fair Ivory, and yeah, those foundations were just too light. So this one is a step darker. I'm going to use the AOA Studio High Def brush in F4. And I love that this is in a pump because the Maybelline foundation, the Fit Me one, doesn't come in a pump. Although they have this new packaging that you can get. I haven't seen it in stores, but it's on Amazon. It's like a plastic squeeze thing with a little nozzle on the top. It's really unique. I've never seen anything like that. It's no better for the environment than the bottle was, but it's easier to get out of the package. So I'm just going to put a little bit of this on my brush. So see, you can tell that this is quite a bit darker because my arms get kind of, well, not tan, but tanner from going outside with long sleeve, yeah, right, short sleeve or sleeveless shirts on. So I want my face to match my arms a little bit better. I like this foundation. It applies easily. This is a good color match for me for summer. I don't know if they have a color match for me for like my color for the rest of the year. I've never really looked. I have a feeling that a lot of the makeup companies are going to be coming out with new foundations soon, because there haven't really been any new ones. Well, not in the price range I can afford. I was looking at this foundation the other day on Beautylish because it was one of the top selling products, and it was Tom Ford, and I was like, yeah, I bet that's a really nice foundation, but no way in hell am I paying that. I think it was over $100. Yeah, no way would I pay that for one bottle of foundation. Can you imagine? You know, when I buy foundations, I never get exactly the right color. So if I'm going to pay that much for a foundation, I want them to color match me and assure me that it's going to be exactly the right color. They're going to have like 100 shades to get everybody's exact right color for that price. Okay, that is definitely well blended. Okay, next I'm going to go in with these. I've been using Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Dark Circle Eraser. And I have one of the correctors and one of the concealers. And the corrector that I have is called Brightener. There's another one that is deeper than this, but this is a good one for me. And I just put this right on my dark circles. So you can see a little bit of a difference there. And then I just kind of give it a second. Then I go in with the concealer, and this is in the shade Fair. And I just go right over the brightener. And because this has a sponge tip applicator, it blends it perfectly. You don't even need to use a brush or your fingers or a sponge or anything. That's one of the nice things about this, although I don't know how sanitary that is because there isn't really any way to clean that, but it does blend it really well. Okay, next I'm going to go in with this Coty Airspun loose face powder, and this is just in the shade Translucent. And this is the e.l.f. powder brush. What I do is I flip it upside down and then tap it like crazy and then lift it up while it's still upside down. Of course, I have the holes punched out here. And then I just work out of the cap. So I'm just going to swirl my brush in there a little bit. And I'm going to just set all my foundation and the concealers. Now this is just going to take the color down a little tiny bit, which is good because you may have seen when I was applying the foundation that it was just a hair too dark for me. So by putting this powder on there, not only am I going to be setting my foundation and concealers, I'm going to get it to be exactly the right shade. This foundation does oxidize just a tiny bit, but if you put this powder on here, it doesn't seem to have as much as an oxidizing effect if I had not put the powder. We're heading into a big heat spell here where I live, where it's going to be extremely hot and humid, so this powder will help my makeup stay in place a little bit better. Alright, next I'm going to contour my face with my AOA Studio Sculpt FX Contour Stick in the shade Nude. This is from shopmissay.com, so it's only $1. I keep meaning to place another order so I can get another one of these, but then, you know, I'm not just going to place an order and just get this one thing. and I get lost on the website and start adding things to my cart and taking things away, and then in the end I don't end up ordering anything. So I need to get on that. Oh, I'm just using the same brush that I used for my foundation, because this is a cream contour stick. Now you would think that I wouldn't be able to blend that over the powder. No problem. No problem. It blends just fine, even with the powder on there. Of course, using my foundation brush helps too. So see, that looks totally natural, just gives me a slightly sculpted look. And what I have been using for blush for quite some time now, in pretty much every video, this is from the company justpigments.com. And this is just a pigment, and it is in the shade, you can't see that, Skintone Pink CP6024. And if you're on the website, it says in parentheses, Aruban Coral. And this is gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Can you see the way the light is reflecting that? Look how much I have here. I think that was the smallest size that this particular item came in. So I've got a lot of it. So it's a good thing I use it every day. I'm going to use this Real Techniques brush. Off the top of my head, I don't remember which one this is. I want to say, oh, this is the contour brush, but I like it for blush. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of this on the brush, tap off the excess. This is super concentrated, so you really don't want much on your brush. It's going to take the inside of this cover. That isn't the way it comes, by the way. It comes in a plastic envelope, so you have to supply your own container. I just got these BPA-free containers from Dollar Tree one day, a whole package of them for $1, so that was a good deal. Okay, so I've tapped off as much as I can, and I'm just gonna lightly swirl this in my cheek area. It's very easy to go a little overboard with this, so just make sure you tap off the excess as much as you can. Okay, now I'm going to go back and just pick up everything that's on that cover and do the other side. But be very, very careful. They have tons of gorgeous pigments on this website, Just Pigments. Just make sure that you read, they have a PDF chart that shows you which things are eye safe, which things are lip safe, which things are not to be used for cosmetics at all. Before you order any particular item, just make sure, because they also sell pigments for people who do crafts and art and things like that. So not all their products are cosmetic grade. Okay, so I think I did good this time. I didn't go overboard because, yeah, sometimes I put too much on my brush. And once it's on your face, you can take it down a little bit with setting powder, but it's much easier if you get it right the first time. For highlight, I'm going to use Revlon Skinlights Prismatic Highlighter in the shade Daybreak Glimmer. This is so pretty, you guys. And I like to use my finger for this so I can get exact placement and blend it perfectly. I've got so many highlighting brushes, but I just feel like I can get it exactly where I want it and blend it better with my finger. It's not showing up on camera as well as it is in real life. The lighting is kind of off today, unfortunately. Okay, next I'm going to go in with my e.l.f. Putty Eye Primer, and this is in the shade Rose, which is a good color for me. And I just use my finger because this has a very thick consistency to it. And if you use your finger, it's going to melt into the skin better than if you had used a brush. And you're also going to get the exact right amount, whereas if you use a brush, you could end up putting on a little more than what you want. So I just stick my finger in the pot, and as soon as I feel it start to melt, that's when I know I have the exact right amount. And make sure you've got that blended out. Alrighty, let's dig into the Jeffree Star Cosmetics Conspiracy Palette. So this is what it looks like. I swatched the whole palette yesterday on my arm. The only one that didn't really swatch that well was the yellow one, which you can't really go by swatches actually, but sometimes you can, I don't know. But I don't know what's going on with me lately, but I'm very attracted to neutrals. And when you first look at this, you may think that it's a colorful palette, but it's actually not. I would say the majority of this palette is neutrals. There are some pops of color here and there, but yeah, I'm gonna do a neutral look today. And this shade right here, I'm not going to use that as a highlight because it's a very like silvery white, and I don't think it would look good with the other shadows that I'm going to use. So what I'm actually going to do to begin is I'm going to go right back into this Revlon Skinlights, and I'm going to put that on my other ring finger too. Blend the two together, and I'm just going to put that as my brow bone highlight. I want it to be fairly subtle because I want the focus to be on the actual shadows that I'm going to use. I'm just going to take a little bit more now and just press that into my inner corners like that. I like to use highlight a lot of times in place of eyeshadow because sometimes it's tough to get exactly the shade that you want, whereas, you know, your face highlighters, they're powder and they should be all right to use as eyeshadows. Okay, so I did want to mention, don't think I'm going to need it today, but just in case I do, this My Petals shade, when I did my swatches, it just blended into my arm like you couldn't even see it. So if I ever need a transition shade that matches my skin tone perfectly, I'll know that I can use it for that. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with Tannicon, which is this light tan shade. And I'm going to use this small Morphe blending brush. This is the M506. Dip my brush in there. Wow, that's pigmented. Okay, I'm tapping off the excess. And I'm going to put that right in the crease. Wow, is that pigmented? Holy smokes. That actually goes on pretty dark. And that means that the shade that's right next to it, Diet Root Beer, would be too dark for me. But it's nice that they did that. They put, you know, a tan shade and then a darker tan shade so that people of all different skin colors would have something that they could work with. That was nice that they did that. Okay, there's a lot of kickback on this. When you put your brush in the eyeshadow, you have to be careful that you don't use too much pressure, because otherwise you're going to lose a lot of it. I do really like his eyeshadow formulas though, normally. Okay. Alright, now I'm going to go in with a MAC 239 shader brush, and I'm going to use the shade Just a Theory, which is this one right here. Doesn't look that much, doesn't look like much just in the palette, but when I did the swatches on my arm, I was like, oh, that is so pretty. So I knew right away I wanted to use that on the lids. So I'm going to pick up some of that on my brush. Yeah, I'm really into neutrals lately. I don't know what's going on, because for a while there, all I wanted to do was play with color. I've noticed that my tendencies when I gravitate towards specific eyeshadow colors usually end up going the opposite of whatever the season is. Like, you know, we're going into summer now, and that's when people usually get into bold eyeshadow shades. And now all I want to do is neutrals. You know, in the spring, everybody goes to the pastels, and then in the summer, they go for like bright colors, but I don't know. Just really into neutrals right now. Yeah, I like this. I really like this shade. It's so pretty. Super nice formula too. So easy to blend, and the shimmers are not crazy. You don't have any like big chunky glitter in there. It's just a nice smooth shimmer. Yeah, I really like it. Okay, now I think that that Diet Root Beer shade might be too dark for what I was going to do with it. So, I don't know. Let's see what the difference is. Okay, there's on my ring finger and my middle finger, there's the difference. You know what? I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to try it. I'm going to put a tiny little bit of the Diet Root Beer, which is the darker of the tan shades, on this AOA Studio High Def brush in E104. I'm just going to very gently press my brush into it. And I'm going to do the outside of my lid and the outer corner. Because I don't want to use the exact same color as I did in the crease, because then you won't get the definition. Okay, they are blending good together. All right. I was really afraid that was going to be too dark. All right, so the other product that you always see in the description box is this. This is a Beauty Treats eye crayon, and this is from shopmissay.com, and I use this as an eyeliner all the time. It just is so easy. So I'm going to put that right at the lower lash line. I'm sort of going like right in between the lashes, So I'm not going on the waterline, I'm going on the lash line. Just like that. Just going to go in a little bit more. This formula is really nice. I had originally bought this to use like as an eyeshadow base. And one day I tried it for a liner and it was like, wow. It's a really soft formula, and you would think this would end up all over the place. But I've trained myself a long time ago not to touch my makeup once it's done. So as long as I don't touch my eyes, it's not going to move. Once it sets, it's going to stay like that. Okay, and should I do the tight line? You know what? It's going to be crazy hot and humid today. So normally I would also do the tight line too, but yeah, it's going to be crazy hot and humid today. So instead, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this Morphe brush. This is like a flat liner brush that came in the I Slay kit at Ulta. And I'm going to go back into Diet Root Beer, which is the darker of the two tan shades. Put some on my brush, and I'm going to run this right across my upper lash line. So it's going to be like a subtle eyeliner effect. Try to stay right as close to the roots of the eyelashes as you can. All right, there we go. Now, I've done a video already about the Milani Lash Primer, and I've talked a lot recently about the Essence Lash Princess, the brow kit, so I'm going to do that off camera and then come back. Okay, so lashes are done and brows. I did want to mention that since I've been using this Milani, the Violet One Lash Primer, I feel like my eyelashes are getting like in better condition. Yeah, I feel like it's conditioning my lashes. It's got oils and stuff in it that are supposed to be good for that, but I have noticed a difference. I feel like my lashes are coming back to life again because they were getting kind of thin before, but they're getting like thicker and stuff now. Okay, I'm going to use this Kylie Jenner lip liner in the shade 20. And I'm just going to line my lips with this. And due to the nature of the color of the liquid lipstick that I'm going to use, I think I had better fill in my lips too, because it's a very light shade. If you've never tried the Jeffree Star liquid lipsticks, really nice formula. I have a few other shades, but I didn't have Celebrity Skin, so I wanted to get this one. The other two nude shades I have are Leo and Mannequin. So this is A little bit darker than Mannequin, I would say, but not nearly as dark as Leo. All right, here we go. Smells like root beer. Right there. Okay, because I used that lip liner, I like this, but if I was using it with a lip liner that matched it, I don't think I would like it as much. But yeah, like merged into that lip liner, I do like this. I think that's a very wearable color. But yeah, just on its own, I think it'd be too light. Okay, so at this point I would usually take my Glow Recipe Watermelon Glow Ultra Fine Mist, give it a shake, and just set everything. This isn't really like it's not a mattifying spray, it's more like a hydrating spray, but it's just going to melt all the powders together. So this is kind of a very neutral look that I did with the Conspiracy palette, but I do really like it, and this is the kind of look that I've been into lately. But I will definitely be playing around with this palette some more and using some of the more colorful shades, and also there's plenty of other neutrals in there to play with too. But I'm not sure what I'm going to do next, but I can't wait to play with that some more. But for my first look, I'm happy with the way that it came out. So that's it for today, you guys. Thank you so much for watching and subscribing, and give it a thumbs up if you like this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye.